Please subscribe. My wife, Sarah, sent me a text late one evening, working late tonight. Don't wait up. The message seemed normal, like something she'd said many times before. I looked at the screen, not mad or shocked, just worn out from acting like everything was fine. The timing felt sloppy, as if she thought I'd just go along without questioning it. I didn't ask her anything. I didn't want more details. I just answered, no problem. I'm not alone either. I put my phone down and kept setting the table without rushing. The house was silent, but my mind was clear. This wasn't a trick or an empty threat. It was getting ready for what needed to happen. About half an hour later, I heard her car pull into the driveway much sooner than I thought it would. The front door banged open hard, and her footsteps sounded full of anger. She rushed in, ready to argue with me. But then she stopped suddenly, standing still in the middle of her step, looking at the woman sitting next to me. Her rage faded right away when she realized who it was. Across from me sat her boss's wife, Emily, staying cool and steady, taking in the whole scene. The room seemed chillier and heavier, like the feeling in the air had shifted. Sarah opened her mouth, then shut it, not sure what to say next. Emily stood up slowly and gave a small smile. Not a friendly one, but on purpose. So, she said quietly, how was your evening out with my husband? A heavy quiet filled the room all at once. Sarah's face went white, and her sureness disappeared fast. She tried to brush it off with a laugh, saying it was a mix-up, or just chance, anything to get out of it. But the facts were already there, and they didn't need saying again. I hadn't yelled. I hadn't fought. I had just asked the right person over to see the truth for herself. Revealing things doesn't have to be loud. It just waits quietly until excuses fall apart by themselves. Emily explained in a steady voice how she'd noticed things adding up over time. Staying late often, work times lining up, excuses that sounded too perfect to be real. She talked without anger, just sticking to what she knew. Sarah looked down at the floor, all the reasons she'd planned crumbling before she could use them. I sat there watching without speaking, not happy about it, not mean, just done. There was no joy in watching someone come undone. There was only proof of what I already knew. Emily thanked me for being upfront and for giving her the answers she'd needed for so long. Then she picked up her things and walked out, holding her head high. Sarah dropped into a chair, trembling, and asked how long I'd known. I told her the truth. Long enough to stop trusting words more than what people do. That hit her harder than any yelling could have. Being unfaithful doesn't always break a marriage. Having it out in the open does. And once it's clear, things never go back to how they were, no matter how hard someone tries to fix it. She pleaded with me to talk more, to tell her everything, to let her make it right. Her voice broke as she looked for kindness she couldn't claim anymore. I listened without interrupting, not because I might change my mind, but because endings should be clear. I said to her, trust doesn't break all at once. It wears away bit by bit until one thing makes it impossible to ignore. That thing had happened now. I told her my text back wasn't about getting even. It was about accepting what was real. Accepting that she'd picked hiding over being honest. I didn't call her names. I didn't shout. I just said I was through. Those words meant more than any argument would. The house seemed empty even though we were both there. She saw then that getting upset couldn't undo what I'd planned for. Results don't go away just because someone cries. They come in quietly, strongly, and stay. The quiet between us wasn't harsh. It was over, and being over doesn't listen to arguments, no matter how much sorrow tries to talk later. In the weeks after, word got around fast, but without much noise. Things got awkward at her job. His marriage fell apart. Their stories didn't match up anymore. I stayed out of all that. When you walk away neatly, mess has no place to stick. Sarah kept trying to contact me, saying sorry over and over, pointing to work pressure, mixed feelings, feeling alone. I heard her out one time, then made clear limits. Finding peace doesn't mean talking forever. It means sticking to your choice. People I know wondered how I kept so steady through it all. I gave them the straight answer. Staying calm happens when you quit arguing with what's true. I wasn't surprised by what she did. I was tired of acting like it wasn't happening. That tiredness stopped the second the truth came into the room. I turned to building new daily habits, keeping my calm and going ahead without falsehoods. Some think getting back at someone heals you. It doesn't. Understanding does. And understanding came that evening without any big scene, leaving no room for more arguments or reasons or defenses. Emily thanked me once more later, not for starting a fight, but for handling it with care. We didn't keep talking. That part of life ended cleanly for us both. At the same time, Sarah had a hard time with losing her sense of control. She thought I'd get mad, bargain, or maybe forgive. She wasn't ready for quiet separation. Being apart makes you think in ways fighting never does. I moved out soon after, not to hurt her, but to keep myself safe. Putting things in boxes went easier than I expected. I wasn't walking away from affection. I was walking away from lies. Each box I closed felt like shutting a door that was already closed in my heart. Quiet took the place of stress. Rest came back. My thoughts cleared up. I found out that real calm isn't something you work out with a person who isn't truthful. It's something you pick when you stop having to defend yourself. That pick changes life in a soft way, without cheers, without anyone watching, and without any second thoughts once it feels right. Some folks wondered if I'd set it all up ahead of time. The real answer is easier. I notice things. Signs show up for people who quit ignoring them. I didn't need hard evidence to get upset. I needed it to end things the right way. That difference was important. Seeing Sarah stop in shock when she realized who was at the table with me wasn't about payback. It was about what happens meeting the right moment. I didn't feel strong. I felt over it. Over doubting what I sensed. Over taking partial truths. Over staying quiet to hold onto a calm that wasn't there. That time showed everyone there a simple truth. Falsehoods can't stand up to someone seeing them, especially a steady witness. The room didn't blow up. It didn't turn into chaos. It grew quiet. And quiet full of facts is much stronger than any yelling. That quiet lingered with us all long after the door shut on the final visitor. It changed how we remembered things, what we chose, and the lines we draw from then on that we'd never cross again. Thinking back, that message about staying late at work wasn't the unfaithfulness itself. It was the moment it came out. My answer didn't start trouble. It brought it to light. When Sarah came in angry and then stood frozen in surprise, she found out something she couldn't undo. Power slips away the instant facts show up. I didn't gain a victory. I didn't feel good about it. I just lined up my life with the truth and my own worth. Emily getting up and smiling slightly wasn't mean. It was bringing an end in a clean way. Some endings come with noise. Others come sitting quietly at your dinner table, waiting without hurry. I picked the quiet one. And once you do that, there's no returning to make-believe. The quiet that came next wasn't blank. It was full of lessons. It showed us all that steady knowing lasts longer than tricks, and self-respect doesn't have to be loud to make itself clear. That evening closed more than our marriage. It closed my willingness to accept falsehoods ever again. With no second thoughts, no need to say sorry, and without ever needing to raise my voice.